Hello YouTube, my name is Big Boy Snatch on TV, aka Wakanda Snatch One, cause I got plenty to go around. As you can tell by the title of my thumbnail of the video, this is my WWE Raw review on high. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end for watch time hours. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content I do on the channel, and go check out my WWE SmackDown review on highlights, and follow my social media down below in the description. Let's get started. Now WWE Raw was a good show for what it was. WWE Raw was live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Commentary tonight was George Testor and Corey Graves. Then, now, forever together. The WWE leads us into the show. It says, I apologize. The first part of Raw will be recap immediately follow the conclusion of Raw. Alright. So we get AJ Styles versus El Grande Americano. This was a good match, so that's all I gotta say. As El Grande Americano is making his entrance, AJ Styles hits him with a baseball slide. AJ Styles attacks him at ringside and drives him into the barricade. AJ Styles puts Americano in the ring and gets in. The referee admonishes him. AJ Styles ducks an attack from Americano and hits a Pele kick before hitting a clothesline over the top rope. The referee calls for the bell to start the match. AJ Styles hits Americano with a forearm plancha. AJ Styles shouts away at Americano's chest and puts him back into the ring. AJ Styles forearms Americano back. Americano grabs the referee, forgetting an injury in a second. El Grande Americano grabs AJ Styles' ankle. Americano knocks AJ Styles off the apron and drives him hard into the ring steps. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Americano hits AJ Styles with a dropkick for a 2 count. Americano applies a Cobra clutch. AJ Styles fights up and drives him into the corner. Americano quickly boots him and goes for a tornado DDT, but AJ Styles counters with an exploder into the turnbuckles. Americano slaps the mat to try to will Americano on. AJ Styles hits Americano with a clothesline, followed by a phenomenal blitz. AJ Styles hits a basement driving forearm. AJ Styles hits a corner clothesline before lifting him. Americano slides off and elbows him. AJ Styles comes back with a torture rack bomb for a near fall. Americano soon fights back and hits a flapjack into the top turnbuckle. Americano chops the chest and comes off the top rope with a springboard blockbuster for a near fall. Americano goes for a power bomb, but AJ Styles fights out and hits a spin kick. AJ Styles sets up for a Styles clash, but Americano gets on the apron. Dragon Lee runs down and attacks Americano before hitting a diving hurricanrana off the apron. In the ring, Americano rolls AJ Styles up, but AJ Styles fiercely rolls through and powers him up for a Styles clash. Wow, 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match, AJ Styles. That was a good match. This was a good match for what it was between AJ Styles and El Grande Americano. Backstage segment. Raw general manager Adam Pearce tells Io Sky that Stephanie McCure couldn't make it to Raw, so he has to cancel the contract signing. Nikki Bella walks up and asks about Stephanie McCure. Adam Pearce says he doesn't see why she won't be at WrestlePalooza. Nikki Bella talks with Io Sky until the Kabuki Warriors walks over. Asuka dismissed Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella says she doesn't have to like her, but she will respect her. Asuka laughs and suggests she beats the respect out of her. Nikki Bella agrees. Io Sky looks worried. Kairi Sane starts to apologize to Io Sky, but Asuka calls after her. Io Sky will battle Stephanie McCure for the vacant Women's World Championship at WrestlePalooza, which is Stephanie McCure is going to win the vacant Women's World Champion. And I'm calling it straight down the middle. Alright, Lara Valkyria heads to the ring. She'll battle Raquel Rodriguez next. Commercial break. There were over 178 million social views across all platforms for AJ Lee's return. And there are some people are complaining that people reacted to AJ Lee's return on the internet. But I was so happy that AJ Lee is back. I'm so happy that AJ Lee is back in the WWE. So AJ Lee is one of my favorite superstars of all time. So that's all I gotta say. I was so happy to see AJ Lee back in WWE. We all miss her, and I'm glad she's back. But hopefully AJ Lee takes the Women's Intercontinental Championship off of Becky Lynch, and that's all I gotta say. All right, a video package, a highlight package for AJ Lee. AJ Lee returns to Raw tonight. All right, so we get the next match. So we get Lyra Kira versus Raquel Rodriguez, accompanied by the Prodigy Roxanne Perez. And this match right here, I ain't gonna lie, this was another good match by itself too. This was a good match. They lock up and Raquel Rodriguez powers her down onto her face. Raquel Rodriguez powers Lyra Kira up, but Lyra Kira slides to the apron and gets into the ring. Lyra Kira kicks away at Raquel Rodriguez's legs. Raquel Rodriguez quickly applies a front face lock and swings her around the ring. Raquel Rodriguez takes Lyra Kira down and throws her to the corner. Raquel Rodriguez applies a waist lock, but Lyra Kira elbows out. Lyra Kira does a clothesline and goes for a perfect pin. Raquel Rodriguez fights it, so Lyra Kira applies a guillotine. Raquel Rodriguez powers out with a delayed vertical suplex attempt. Lyra Kira slides out and hits a pair of running shoulder tackles, but Raquel Rodriguez absorbs them. Raquel Rodriguez catches her, attempting a running crossbody, but Lyra Kira gets out. Lyra Kira hits an arm drag, followed by an enziguri that kicks Raquel Rodriguez out of the ring. Lyra Kira gets the crowd going and hits a wrecking ball drop kick. Lyra Kira gets Raquel Rodriguez into the ring and goes to the top rope. Raquel Rodriguez catches a crossbody attempt and hits a fallaway slam. Raquel Rodriguez pulls her to the corner and pulls her on her hair and legs to twist her around the ring post. Raquel Rodriguez hits a slingshot twisted corkscrew elbow. Raquel Rodriguez hits a second one for a near fall. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Raquel Rodriguez is applying a backbreaker, but Lyra Kira gets out and rolls her up for a 2 count. Raquel Rodriguez quickly transitions into a modified Boston Crab. Raquel Rodriguez quickly gets up and kicks her in the face. Raquel Rodriguez sends her into the ropes, but Lyra Kira takes her down with a drop kick, sort of. Lyra Kira hits a trio of running forearms before striking away at her. Lyra Kira hits a running wheel kick, followed by a wheelbarrow bulldog that didn't work at all. Lyra Kira comes off the second rope with a tornado DDT for a 2 count. Raquel Rodriguez soon fights back and hits a slingshot Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. Raquel Rodriguez applies a modified torture rack before driving her into the top turnbuckle. Raquel Rodriguez clubs her before attempting a superplex. Lyra Kira fights out and goes for a sunset flip. Powerbomb. Raquel Rodriguez holds on, so Lyra Kira pulls herself up on Raquel Rodriguez before slinging down for a powerbomb. 1-2. Raquel Rodriguez kicks out. The crowd, the crowd chants, "This is awesome." Lyra Kira powers Raquel Rodriguez up, but her back gives out. Roxanne Perez gets on the apron and distracts Lyra Kira. Raquel Rodriguez attacks her from behind. Lyra Kira ducks a closeout from Raquel Rodriguez and hits Roxanne Perez with a wrecking ball drop kick. Raquel Rodriguez attacks her and goes for a powerbomb, but Lyra Kira kicks out. Lyra Kira hits a bridging pin for a near fall. Lyra Kira hits Raquel Rodriguez with a running enziguri before going to the top rope. Raquel Rodriguez gets up and hits a massive Tahana bomb. 1, 2, 3. The winner by pinfall, Raquel Rodriguez. This was a good match between Lyra Kira and Raquel Rodriguez. Mike's thoughts. This match has some really sloppy moments, but the last few moments were really strong, which is I agree. Backstage segment. Penta is talking with the World Raiders before he bumps into Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. Penta asks Adam Pearce why he doesn't love him. Adam Pearce says he is a super impressed by Penta. Penta wants a title shot against Seth Rollins. Penta will be the champion. Russo walks over. Adam Pearce isn't following the plan, and Russo's return. Russo beats Sheamus. Adam Pearce is wasting his time with clowns. Penta gets in Russo's space. Adam Pearce tells them to prove it in the ring. Adam Pearce makes the match for tonight. AJ Lee returns to Raw next, so we go to commercial break. Backstage segment. AJ Styles tells Dragon Lee that he appreciates him having his back. Jimmy Uso walks up and greets him before walking off. Jimmy Uso finds his brother Jey Uso getting ready to leave. Jimmy Uso asks where he's going. Jey Uso says he's leaving. Jimmy Uso says they need to help LA Knight. Jey Uso says he's done with LA Knight. LA Knight tried to get him. What about him? What about them? Helping LA Knight won't get them to WrestlePalooza or get him with World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso says they need to acknowledge them or they smash all of them. Jimmy Uso says Jey is sounded like himself. He sounded like Roman Reigns. So he got him. So he got him right there on that one. Jey Uso says sounding like himself might not be worth it. Jey Uso picks up his bag and leaves the arena. There is a tease that Jey Uso is going to turn heel. I can definitely see that happening. So they're teasing Jey Uso's heel turn. But anyway, let's move on. So we get AJ Lee returns to Raw for the first time in 10 years. This was a good segment by AJ Lee. AJ Lee comes out to a massive reaction. She is wearing Becky Lynch Women's Intercontinental Championship. That part was funny. The crowd chants, "Welcome back." AJ Lee thanks them. AJ Lee says, for those who aren't here 10 years ago, why their millennial parents were excited on Friday. She wants to include herself. Her name is AJ Lee, and she is your favorite wrestler. She is your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. And AJ Lee chant fires up. 10 years ago, she retires. She felt like she had accomplished all of her dreams in wrestling. She was content and hug up her Chuck Taylors. She thought it was the end of her story. She never entered the ring wearing jean shorts that were 2 sizes too small. So she went on a journey to accomplish all these crazy dreams she had in life. She did it. Most importantly, she went on a mental health journey. She wasn't healthy. She took care of herself and got right. And got it right. AJ Lee went to therapy and got treatment. A therapy chant picks up. AJ Lee says she found a way to turn the mental chaos into superpower. The fight isn't easy. If you're going through the same thing, the fight is worth it. You are worth it. AJ Lee says she was doing really good for a long time. Then she watches Monday Night Raw. Healing is an error. It's one thing to see your husband fighting Drew McIntyre, John Cena, or Seth Rollins. It's another thing entirely to see him in the ring with Becky Lynch. She wanted to like Becky Lynch. It's a leader and a rebel as well as a New York Times best-selling author like she is. AJ Lee says she did it first. There is a world in which they could have been friends. Then she went a monster boated her husband. She puts her hands on him, berate him, and defame him. The man Becky Lynch heads to the ring. Becky Lynch is dressed in red and wearing some extra sunglasses. AJ Lee happily waves at her. The crowd loudly boos Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch says this has nothing to do with her stank, you know what, husband. Becky Lynch asks if everyone is insane. Hasn't nobody noticed? Are they stupid? Of course they are. They're in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. AJ Lee is wearing her title. That is her title, the most important in the division. They are nothing alike because Becky Lynch is the greatest female wrestler of all time. You can boo her all you want. You can boo her all you like. But other people said, including Sports Illustrated, hey you suck champ picks up. Becky Lynch is not happy and says she'll need to go to therapy after this. AJ Lee doesn't deserve to put a finger on her title. Another therapy chant picks up. AJ Lee says this is so embarrassing because she forgot she was wearing the title. She's been skipping around the house all week with it on. Becky Lynch tells her to cut the crap. Becky Lynch takes off her sunglasses and reveals a nasty black eye. She says she's sporting quite the shiner. Was that something AJ Lee did to her? AJ Lee apologizes for doing that. AJ Lee sarcastically says that since Becky Lynch is the greatest of all time, she should come into the ring and take it. AJ Lee lays it on the mat. Becky Lynch starts heading to get into the ring, but she stops herself. A chicken chant picks up. Becky Lynch says she is not a chicken. Becky Lynch calls AJ Lee a Jersey trash bag weirdo. Becky Lynch wants her title. She has to bath and bleach after touching her greasy husband. A CM Punk chant picks up. Becky Lynch asks what kind of man hides behind his wife. AJ Lee doesn't need to stick her neck into their vision. Becky Lynch calls for her hot husband to come out. Burn it down. World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins comes out to the stage. Becky Lynch aggressively talks with him. Seth Rollins says he'll handle it. Seth Rollins screams at the crowd to quiet down. This is very simple. They can make this super easy. Seth Rollins takes AJ Lee to give Becky Lynch her Intercontinental Championship back, and they can all leave this dump of a city as soon as possible. AJ Lee sarcastically says AJ Lee sarcastically says that it is a really good idea. She has a better idea. Becky Lynch can come into the ring and take the title back, but she'll risk getting another black eye, or she can give her the title. If they agree to a tag match, AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins gives her title to Becky Lynch, as well as his sunglasses. A CM Punk chant picks up. Seth Rollins says he knows she's been gone for 10 years, but that's not how things work. Seth Rollins is World Heavyweight Champion. This is his show. These are his people. She doesn't call the shots. Seth Rollins calls the shots. He'll come into the ring, take the title, give it back to his incredible wife. That'll be the end of it. AJ Lee thanks him for mansplaining. Seth Rollins gets in the ring, and AJ Lee stands in his way. Seth Rollins goes to get around her, but she continues to get in his way. Seth Rollins is getting upset and warns her to listen. That title doesn't belong to her. That is hers. That is his title. CM Punk walks up behind Becky Lynch and walks by her. CM Punk gets in the ring and turns Seth Rollins around for a go to sleep, but Seth Rollins immediately escapes. A loud CM Punk chant picks up. Seth Rollins is furious and accepts the match for WrestlePalooza. They both done for it. AJ Lee picks up the Women's Intercontinental Championship, kicks it, and throws it at Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch feet. CM Punk and AJ Lee embrace in the ring. In my honest opinion, they should have made this a mixed tag team winner take all match. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. My thoughts. Great to see AJ Lee back on Raw for the first time over 10 years. I remember recapping her final match on the Raw after WrestleMania. It wasn't until a few weeks later that I realized I had recapped her final match. I'm excited to recap her return match at WrestlePalooza, which is looking to be a stacked show. The crowd was awesome throughout her promo, including with the therapy chant. That was pretty funny. It ended with kind of a dud because no one wanted to wait for WrestlePalooza, so there wasn't much of a reaction. The segment kind of just ended. It also ran slightly too long. It was a good segment by AJ Lee. So AJ Lee put on a good segment. All right, video package. Canelo, Canelo, Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford is coming on Saturday, September 13th. Penta makes his entrance. He'll be in action against Rusev next. So commercial break. Video package. Bayley is showing with her spirit personalities. She feels bad about having to hurt Lara Kira. Bayley goes back and forth between the hugger and the role model. Bayley suggests with the voice before saying she'll make it right. So we get Penta versus Rusev, and this was a decent match. What it was, the bell rings and Penta lets him know that he's not afraid of him. Penta ducks a clothesline and chops away at the Bulgarian brute. Rusev avoids a slingshot and clotheslines him down for a 2 count. Rusev stands over Penta and punches him in the head a few times. Rusev connects with a short arm clothesline. Penta gets out of a vertical suplex and hits a head scissors takeover. Penta avoids an avalanche and hits a backstabber for a 1 count. Penta avoids a avalanche and hits a backstabber for a 1 count. Penta punches away at Rusev and kicks him in the head. Penta goes for the second rope. Rusev rolls out of the ring. Rusev blocks a kick from the apron and trips him. Rusev lifts Penta and slams him onto the commentary table. Rusev charged, but Penta sidesteps him. Rusev hits the ring steps hard. So we go to commercial break. Alright, back from commercial break. Penta chops away at Rusev. Rusev pushes him off, but he lowers his head and eats a kick. Penta kicks him and connects with a reverse sling blade. Penta kicks Rusev down and hits a handstand slingshot basement dropkick for a 2 count. The New Day and Grayson Waller come down to ringside. Rusev grabs Penta, but Penta flips through. He hits the ropes and takes out Kofi Kingston and Grayson Waller with a somersault senton. Penta pulls the top rope down to get Rusev out of the ring. Penta goes for a suicide dive, but Rusev punches him in the face. Rusev gets in the ring, and Penta hits him with a cold red for a 2 count. Joe Tester calls it a Mexican destroyer. Penta stomps away at Rusev, who has the wind knocked out of him. Penta goes to the second rope. Xavier Woods gets on the ring apron, but Penta kicks him off. Penta jumps at Rusev, but Rusev hits a Machka kick out of midair for the win. The winner by pinfall, Rusev. This was a decent match between Penta and Rusev. Rusev shouts, "Fear me now." Rusev has the referee raise his arm. The New Day and Grayson Waller mock Penta at ringside. Thoughts? This was an okay match. They had a little trouble navigating around the Styles Clash. It feels like they're sandbagging Penta a bit after he hurts Xavier Woods' neck after a few weeks ago. Backstage segment: Bronson Reed is preparing with Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed will battle LA Knight later tonight. So we go to commercial break. The commentators remind us that Raw will start at 7 p.m. next week. Video package: a recap of last Friday's SmackDown. It was John Cena's final SmackDown. John Cena rounded up battling Sami Zayn for the United States Championship in a competitive match that was interrupted by Brock Lesnar attacked the referee and Sami Zayn before hitting John Cena with the F5. Now that should have been Jimmy Uso challenging Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. That should have been Jimmy Uso by himself. Alright, Brock Lesnar will be live on SmackDown. Locker room segment: LA Knight is warming up when Jimmy Uso walks in. Jimmy Uso wants to confirm that tonight was an accident. LA Knight says he accidentally hit Jey Uso because he didn't move. LA Knight isn't interested in Jimmy Uso's help. Jey Uso cost him the world title. He do this himself. Nikki Bella makes her entrance. She'll face Asuka next. Commercial break. So we get Nikki Bella versus Asuka, accompanied by Kairi Sane. And this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie, this was a solid match for what it was. They take a few moments before Nikki Bella avoids some strikes and rolls Asuka up for a 2 count. Asuka fights back, but Nikki Bella sits on her for a 2 count. Asuka looks surprised that Nikki Bella is so competitive. We have some dueling chants for both women. Nikki Bella hooks a side headlock. Asuka whips her off and absorbs a shoulder tackle. Asuka absorbs another shoulder tackle. Nikki Bella gets in her face. Asuka goes for a sneak attack, but Nikki Bella avoids it and clotheslines her down. Asuka sidesteps and avalanches, but Nikki Bella quickly boosts her back. Asuka quickly knees her in the face. Asuka chokes her on the ropes and goes for a hip attack, but Nikki Bella avoids it. Nikki Bella punches her and hits a spine buster for a 2 count. Asuka rolls out of the ring to recover. Asuka avoids a baseball slide. Asuka used Kairi Sane as a human shield. Nikki Bella moves Kairi Sane and Asuka kicks her in the face. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Nikki Bella whacks Asuka with a forearm. Asuka fights back with a snap German suplex. Asuka goes to the second rope and poses before attempting a missile dropkick, but Nikki Bella moves. Nikki Bella connects with a pair of clotheslines followed by a dropkick. Nikki Bella puts her in the corner and gets the crowd going. Nikki Bella hits a corner clothesline and slams her down. Nikki Bella comes off the second rope with a flying kick for a near fall. Nikki Bella fights back. Nikki Bella fights her and lifts her up. The sloppy counter into a roll up. Asuka quickly kicks Nikki Bella in the head. Asuka soon connects with a strike combination for a 2 count. Asuka sets up for it in Asuka lock, but Nikki Bella fights out. Asuka quickly kicks her down and goes for an Asuka lock. Nikki Bella counters with a roll for a 2 count. Nikki Bella quickly slams her down for another 2 count. Nikki Bella lifts Asuka for the rack attack 2.0. But Asuka avoids it and hits a nasty backhand. Asuka connects with the Empress Impact before locking her in the Asuka lock. Nikki Bella fights the pain, but she has to tap out. The winner by submission, Nikki Bella. The winner by submission, Asuka. This was a solid match for what it was. Decent enough match with good heat, but still, this was a solid match in my opinion. Earlier tonight, AJ Lee and CM Punk goaded Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch into a tag team match at WrestlePalooza. But like I said earlier, this mixed tag team match should be a winner take all match. That's all I gotta say, in my opinion. At WrestlePalooza on September 20th, we have a mixed tag team match with the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch battling CM Punk and AJ Lee, which is CM Punk and AJ Lee will go over Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. But hopefully that AJ Lee takes the Women's Intercontinental Championship off of Becky Lynch, because the Women's Intercontinental Championship looks good around AJ Lee's waist, and that's all I gotta say, and I hope that happens. Alright, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, and CM Punk and AJ Lee will be face to face next week on Raw. Roxanne Perez will also battle Lyra Kira. We also see John Cena make an appearance. Alright, so we get the Judgment Day Clubhouse. The Judgment Day is celebrating beating Lyra Kira. WWE Intercontinental Champion Dirty Dominic Mysterio walks in. Finn Balor says he thought Dominic Mysterio was gone. Talking to El Grande Americano. Finn Balor says they're in the dark with Americano. They want to know what they're getting into. Dominic Mysterio says he was just trying to help. It's a lucha thing. Maybe he wouldn't need help if they hadn't been banned from last week. Roxanne Perez suggests she'll go talk to him. In the ring, LA Knight makes his entrance to a huge pop. He'll face Big Bronson Reed next. So we go to commercial break. Backstage segment. A fierce Nikki Bella is walking backstage when the Kabuki Warriors walk up. Asuka says that's exactly what will happen to Stephanie McCure. Nikki Bella gets in her face and shoves Asuka. Rhea Ripley walks over to a big reaction. Rhea Ripley asks if there is a problem. Asuka says she is the top woman in WWE. Rhea Ripley says it's Io Sky going for the Women's World Championship. Asuka shakes that off and walks off. Kairi Sane looks nervous before Asuka growls after her. Alright, so we get the main event of the So we get the main event of the evening. So we get LA Knight versus Big Bronson Reed, accompanied by Braun Breaker. And this was a pretty good main event match, what it was. LA Knight quickly takes it to Bronson Reed with the right hand. Bronson Reed puts the brakes on a whip, but LA Knight sidesteps an avalanche. LA Knight kicks and punches him before bouncing him off the top turnbuckle. Bronson Reed stops a whip and sends LA Knight hard into the corner. LA Knight looks like he was supposed to go over the turnbuckles, but he didn't make it. Bronson Reed then sends LA Knight out of the ring in front of Braun Breaker. LA Knight snaps Bronson Reed off the top rope and goes for a slingshot attack, but Bronson Reed catches him. LA Knight goes for a sunset flip, but Bronson Reed won't go down. Bronson Reed goes for a cannonball, but LA Knight moves. LA Knight hits a pair of running clotheslines, but Bronson Reed doesn't go down. LA Knight hits the ropes, but Bronson Reed floors him with a clothesline. Bronson Reed punches away at LA Knight before stomping an elbow. The Tribal Thief puts a finger in the air. Bronson Reed shoulders LA Knight midsection and punches him. LA Knight comes back with some punches, but Bronson Reed headbutts him down. Bronson Reed sends LA Knight into the ropes, but LA Knight holds on. LA Knight elbows him back and sends him out of the ring. LA Knight hits Bronson Reed with a big baseball slide. LA Knight stares at Braun Breaker. LA Knight quickly sends Bronson Reed into the ring post, followed by the ring steps. So we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Bronson Reed hits LA Knight with a massive front slam for a near fall. Bronson Reed pulls LA Knight up and rocks him with a right hand. Bronson Reed chokes LA Knight on the bottom rope before the referee admonishes him. Braun Breaker quickly runs over and chokes LA Knight more. Bronson Reed stomps LA Knight in the corner and chokes him. Bronson Reed back up and mocks the Usos. Bronson Reed charged, but LA Knight drop kicks him in the knees, knocking him into the turnbuckles. LA Knight punches away at Bronson Reed and stomps him in the corner. LA Knight sides him up and charge, but Bronson Reed lifts him. LA Knight slides off and hits a jawbreaker. LA Knight punches Bronson Reed a few times, but Bronson Reed blocks one and throws him over the top rope. Braun Breaker turns to LA Knight at ringside. Bronson Reed charges LA Knight at ringside, but LA Knight sends him into the timekeeper's area. LA Knight gets on the commentary table, leaves to the barricade, and clotheslines Bronson Reed down. LA Knight pulls him up, but Bronson Reed attacks and puts him in the ring. LA Knight attacks Bronson Reed, does a pair of attacks, and leaves, but Bronson Reed catches him. Bronson Reed avoids a neck breaker, but LA Knight soon takes him down. LA Knight hits a double jump elbow drop off for a near fall. Alright, LA Knight sets up for the blunt force showdown and Bronson Reed shoves him off. And LA Knight hits Braun Breaker as he gets on the apron. Bronson Reed immediately hits the jagged edge for the win. The winner by pinfall, Big Bronson Reed. This main event match was pretty good main event. This main event match was pretty good for what it was. Big Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker double team LA Knight until Jimmy Uso runs down for the save. Jimmy Uso super kicks them, but Braun Breaker quickly stops him with a massive spear. Bronson Reed hits a senton splash on Jimmy Uso. The main event, Jey Uso runs down for the surprise save. Jey Uso super kicks Bronson Reed and punches away at Braun Breaker. Jey Uso super kicks Bronson Reed again. Braun Breaker then hits Jey Uso with a spear. Braun Breaker stacks the Usos up. Bronson Reed heads to the top rope, but LA Knight hits him with a steel chair. LA Knight throws the chair into Braun Breaker's face and chases the Vision off. LA Knight checks on Jey Uso and asks if they're good. LA Knight helps Jimmy Uso up. LA Knight and Jimmy Uso shake hands. Jey Uso then hits LA Knight with a huge spear. Jey Uso angrily looks at his brother as the show ends. My thoughts, man, it really feels like we get some interaction of the exact same thing every week. This whole run with the Vision is becoming increasingly creative, bankrupt. Is this all they got for the fall? The reception is torturous. Sure, every now and then they throw in a stipulation to shake things up. It like the Extreme Rules match a few weeks ago, but usually either a DQ interference finish followed by the face making that a save, only to get ultimately beat down. I'm begging for a little variety. Let me read a quick match. AJ Styles defeated a Grand Americano, which is a good match for what it was. Wakara Rodriguez defeated Laura Kill, also a good match. Rusev defeated Penta, decent match. Asuka defeated Nikki Bella Asuka defeated Nikki Bella by submission. Solid match what it was. Big Bronson Reed defeated LA Knight, which is the main event, was pretty good for what it was. And WWE goes off the air. Alright, let me give my honest opinion what I think about WWE Raw. Now, WWE Raw was a good show for what it was. If you guys enjoy my WWE Raw with me on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. For watch time hours, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more West content that I do on the channel. Make sure you guys follow my social media down below in the description. Make sure you guys go check out my WWE SmackDown review and highlights. And that's all I gotta say. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. And I will see you guys tomorrow for my WWE NXT review and highlights. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.